Fans are making their way into the Rogers Center for the first of a three-game series against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Sean Markham will go to the mound to make his third start of the season. He was the opening day starter for Cito Gaston's Jays. He's looking for his first win of the season. Mike Scioscia's Angels are off to a bit of a slow start, 3-7 for the season. And Rance, the Jays are off to a great start, 7-3 over those same 10 games, but they have really approached things in quite a different fashion.
Yes, they have. The Jays have pitched extremely well as a ball club. The Angels, on the other hand, not so good. They come in tonight with a team ERA of 5.63. That's 14th in the American League. Contrast that with the Jays' 3.94. So those two numbers really tell the story.
When you really look at the two starting pitchers tonight, they are quite different in their approach. And Jared Weaver is all about power. He comes at you from the side, tough angle. Sean Markham, of course, is all about finesse.
Well, with Sean Markham, the key for him is his changeup. Everybody knows that. And it is so good you can look for it and you still can't hit it. Sean Markham, since day one, opening day back in Texas, took a no-hitter deep into the game. He has been very effective, yet to win. Hopefully he'll get his first win tonight. But that changeup's go-to for him. Jared Weaver, on the other hand, likes to pound the zone with his fastball. He'll work it to both sides of the plate, is not afraid to pitch inside. Occasionally mix in a slider to keep the hitters a little off balance.
Well, Vladdy Guerrero is no longer the DH for the Angels. They have a new hitter in that lineup. And let's go down on the field to Sam Cosentino to talk about the new DH.
Buck, with that gaping hole in the middle of the Angels lineup, Tony Regan's the general manager, went out and signed Hideki Matsui to a one-year, $6 million deal. Matsui off to a fantastic start with the Angels, including yesterday's game with the New York Yankees. He hit his third home run of the year and now has 6 RBI on the season. And for Matsui, really represents part of a veteran core that Mike Scioscia is used to having in his lineup going back to the World Series year in 2002.
Well, defense has not been a problem at all for the Jays. 13 double plays already this season. They've been flashing the leather. That's helped contribute to a fast start. Scotia's team off to a 3-7 start. They're hitting .260 as a ball club, but they've got some new pieces in their lineup. Eric Ibar is in the leadoff spot. That used to be Sean Figgins. Bobby Abreu, the right fielder, hitting just .256, but 150 games played in 12 straight seasons. He's consistent in that he plays every day. He's consistent at the plate, and he has really given these young hitters a good idea how they need to work. There you see the cleanup batter, Hideki Matsui, off to a good start. He had a home run against his former team in New York last night. This lineup is not really clicking on all cylinders just yet. Interesting guy at the bottom of the order, Jeff Mathis, hitting .333, more better known for his defense than he is for his bat. Sean Markham makes his third start of the season here, looking for his first win, but he's pitched well in both outings.
Sean Markham has been outstanding so far. Just pitched into a little bit of tough luck, as you mentioned, Buck. Consecutive no decisions. In his last outing, 6 innings of work, gave up just 2 earned runs, and of course was brilliant on opening day. But he'll have to be sharp here tonight. He's up against a tough opponent in Jared Weaver.
Well, Markham is truly a finesse pitcher when you look at his career record. 2-1 against the Angels, but he will give them the entire kitchen sink tonight.
Yes, he will. A finesse pitcher. That changeup is really his key. Pretty good fastball, can really be sneaky with it at times, especially hitters get a little bit conscious of that excellent changeup that he has. He can touch 91 with that fastball, but really the key for him is that change. And when he has good feel for that changeup and can use it consistently, he is very tough.
Defensively behind Sean Markham, Cito Gaston's had some interesting changes.
Yes, he has. This evening, Lynn will play left field, Wells in center, Snyder in right, Bautista at third, Gonzalez at short. McDonald gets the start at second base this evening, Overbay at first, Buck behind the plate, and of course Sean Markham on the mound. Alex Gonzalez has been swinging a hot bat, had 4 hits last night, but he has really impressed everyone around here, Buck, with his defensive play at shortstop. This infield with him at short has really solidified the middle of this defense. And you had Mack at second, Gonzalez at short, Wells in center. Just make them hit the ball, put it in play, and give Alex and the crew a chance to catch it.
Well, Cito Gaston knows the value of infield defense. This team is converted 14 double plays. That's the most in the American League. So we're set to go now. The umpires took a little bit extra meeting. First trip in here for Mike Scioscia's Angels, and they wanted to make sure they had the ground rules right. It'll be Eric Ibar taking over as the cleanup hitter here for the Angels. Sean Figgins left the Angels and went to Seattle as a free agent. First pitch just inside. You know, a lot of people don't realize how Markham has good fastball. I mean, it's not like he's just flipping it up there, but he'll get it up upper 80s, low 90s. 2-0 to leadoff hitter. Bautista at third base, way in front of the bag to guard against the bunt. There you see the defense.
Sean Markham, you could see there is his maturity as a pitcher. That last pitch, 2-0, took a little bit off the fastball just to get in the over strike.
2-1 to the leadoff batter, Ibar. There's ball 3. Markham's got an incredible ability to throw that dead fish fastball, if you will, when he's behind. It's not a full-blown changeup, but it's really disruptive to the timing of the batter. But he's behind Eric Ibar here to start the game. There it is again.
You could clearly see 2-0, 3-1. Eric Ibar leading off this ball game was taking.
Trying to get a good look at Markham, what he might be featuring tonight to help out his teammates as they look through the lineup. 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. Fought all the way back from a 2-0 count and made a good pitch. That's what you'll see with Sean Markham.
The key to this pitch right here, a little late movement and very good location, down and away and on the corner to Eric Ibar.
1 down. Sean Markham in his last start against the Orioles in Baltimore gave up a couple of first inning runs. Miguel Tejada had an RBI base hit, and Luke Scott a ground ball RBI. There's a fastball on the corner for a strike. Bobby Abreu, the 14-year veteran, in his second season with the Angels. Terrific addition to an already good ball club. 0-2.
And not at all uncommon for Bobby Abreu to be 0-2. He has tremendous confidence in himself to be able to fight back from that 0-2 count. Really can stay inside the baseball and has a great eye at the plate. He really can work a base on ball.
0-2 pitch just off the plate. What's the value of taking so many pitches for a hitter like Abreu?
Well, first of all, the more you see from a pitcher, I always felt like the better your chances of timing something and really squaring the baseball up. And the more you begin to recognize movement and change of pace.
Abreu hits it right to Markham. Easy play for Sean Markham there, 2 down. Another infield on defense. Sean Markham is a terrific fielder. Started in college as a shortstop.
And that is a real plus for a pitcher when he can field his position, bounce off the mound, especially when it comes in terms of that swinging bunt, bouncing off the mound on the bunt plays. Can really help himself out being a good defensive player as a pitcher.
Torrey Hunter with 2 outs takes a strike. Torrey Hunter in his 11th season, signed as a free agent with the Angels a couple of years ago. Markham in there again. Didn't take him long to get zeroed in. Oh, 0-2 for Torrey Hunter. Right back to the mound again. Easy inning for Sean Markham. 3 up, 3 down. Jays are back, bottom of the first. Can lead by half a game. Jose Bautista will lead it off. Shortstop Alex Gonzalez has been on fire. 10 extra base hits already. Leads the majors in that department. He had his 7th career 4-hit game last night. Really swinging a hot bat. Glenn Wells overbade, middle of the order. John Buck catches again tonight. Randy Ruiz gets a start tonight at the DH spot. And it'll be Snyder and McDonald to round out the lineup that'll face Jared Weaver.
And Jared Weaver, a tough opponent for these Blue Jays, career-wise against them. 5 wins against just 1 loss, a 3 ERA, and in his last 23 1/3 innings of work against this Blue Jay ball club, he has allowed just 4 earned runs.
Wow. The only thing that's in the Jays' favor is the fact that the Angels struggle in this ballpark. 39-66 at the Rogers Center for Mike Scioscia's ball club. There's that power strike to jump out in front by Weaver. Former #1 pick out of Long Beach State. Certainly taking his rightful spot at the head of this rotation. We talk about Weaver and his power, but he also has a tough delivery.
He really does. If you watch his front foot and his stride, he really throws across his body.
Fouled back.
And that makes it especially tough for the right-handers, because the ball, it almost gives you the impression that he's throwing it from almost third base, and he hides the baseball very well.
Out in front of Jose Bautista, a ball and 2 strikes. Looked like he slipped on that mound, and he's looking at his landing spot. Good little groundskeeping there. He didn't like that spot.
And this always gives you a little bit of concern when you see a pitcher slip or have a little problem with his delivery. Sometimes that leads to an injury.
Right on the outside corner. First strikeout for Weaver.
This is what
problem with that one.
Excuse me, Buck. This is what Jared Weaver does so well with his fastball. He uses it to both sides of the plate with very good command.
1 out. Alex Gonzalez will bat. 4 hits last night, as we mentioned. Quite a contrast in styles, we pointed out early on.
Definitely. Jared Weaver has very early on already established his fastball.
Right at the third baseman. Meiser restores in the dirt. Good scoop by Morales at first. 2 down.
Defensively for the Angels this evening, behind Jared Weaver, it will be Rivera in left, Hunter in center, Abreu in right, Izturis at third, Ibar at short, Kendrick at second, Morales at first. Mathis does the catching this evening, and Jared Weaver the pitching for the Angels. And Torrey Hunter, although he has lost a step over the years in center field, still as good as it gets, and he really anchors this defense for the Angels. And you can see 9 consecutive Gold Gloves.
So with 2 down, Adam Lind will face Jared Weaver. Just off the outside corner. Angels really understand how Lind has progressed over the last couple of seasons. Truly one of the offensive threats in the American League. A lot of movement on that fastball in the low 90s.
Well, Adam Lind hits the ball with power to all fields, and as he's matured as a hitter, he really gives you the impression that he has a very good idea of what he wants to do at the plate.
How much does the crossfire delivery affect left-handed batters like Lind?
Really, I don't believe that it has any effect at all, because it's a lot easier for you to see the baseball. He's not throwing across his body, or you don't sense it like you would from the right side of the plate.
3-0 over the plate.
There is no question that if you just look at his delivery, you would automatically think that right-handed hitters would have a much more difficult time against Jared Weaver as opposed to the left-handers.
3-1 pitch to Lind. Pulled foul. As a left-hander, you can look directly at that release point and have a pretty good look right out of the hand.
And 2 big keys is his breaking ball is coming towards you and not going away from you, and his fastball that's running and sinking is going away from you and not running in on your hands.
Full count. Foul back.
That ball that runs in on your hands that's a tough one to keep off of you.
Well, just because you can see him doesn't mean you're going to hit him.
That's right. If he locates, it can be a long night.
3-2. 2 down here in the bottom of the first. We're scoreless. Struck him out. Took something off, and Adam Lynn goes down swinging. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Jared Weaver. Beautiful night down in Toronto, Rogers Center. Great match.
Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Back here at the Rogers Center, Hideki Matsui to face Markham. Takes a strike. Matsui signed in the offseason as a free agent. Off to a good start. 3 home runs already. Missed low, 1-1. The Yankees were actually interested in re-signing Hideki Matsui, but he signed so quickly with the Angels, they really didn't have a chance to negotiate. Hideki Matsui has really taken the leadership role here early on offensively.
He's a real professional hitter. Has a very good idea at the plate. Had a nice conversation with Mickey Hatcher about him earlier. And what he had to say was he has a routine that he sticks to every day. It's the same thing. He looks at the barrel of the bat. He looks where his hands are at. And then he knows what he wants to hit. And when he doesn't get what he's looking for, he has great pitch recognition and won't swing at something that he's not looking for.
3-1 right on the corner. He wasn't going to chase that borderline pitch with a 3-1 count. Now it's full.
There's a great example. Probably in that situation, we're guessing a little bit here, but probably looking for something hard middle in. It wasn't there. He lays off of it.
Base hit into center. Matsui with a single starts things off here in the second inning.
Well, the pitch, the 3-1 pitch was in an excellent spot right on the outside corner. 3-2, Matsui gives just a little bit with 2 strikes. This one borrows, it's up just a little bit more than the previous pitch, and he hits it right back through the box into center field.
But again, he had a chance to look at 6 pitches, had a pretty good read on Sean Markham. A leadoff single for Hideki Matsui. And now Kendry Morales, the switch hitter, will stand in. There's a ball outside. Morales really came into his own last season. Hit .306 with 34 homers and 108 driven in. And they waited on him for a while to really reach his potential.
Well, last year, when they were unable to bring back Teixeira as a free agent, he moved on to the Yankees. It put the Angels and maybe Morales, Kendry Morales, in a spot where we're going to run you out there every day, And the job's yours until you prove you can't do it. And he really grasped the opportunity and blossomed into a big-time power hitter at the major league level.
1-1 to Morales. Overbay to Gonzalez at second for one. Back to first. Double. Oh, no. Off the bag. Sean Markham got the ball in plenty of time, but didn't find the base with his foot. We mentioned what a good athlete he is. He got over there easily and had plenty of time, but just didn't locate the bag.
It looked like the throw might have pulled him off the bag just a little bit. And Gonzalez, the shortstop, he had a little more time. Right here, he could have set himself a little bit better. You see the throw kind of tails away. Maybe looked like Sean Markham might have stretched a little bit early, committed a little bit early. The throw was a little offline, and he couldn't make the adjustment. But you did get a good look at his athleticism.
He didn't make contact till Morales was past the bag. So there's one down now for the left fielder, Juan Rivera. Morales at first. We'd mentioned how important the defense has been to the Jays so far. They've converted 13 ground ball double plays.
Alex Gonzalez, if he had the opportunity, would probably tell you that's one that should have taken maybe a little more time to get his feet underneath him and make a very strong, accurate throw to first base.
Rivera takes a strike, 1-1. Juan Rivera got the night off last night in the Bronx against New York. Mike Scioscia was thinking ahead to this 3-game series and wants Rivera to be able to be out in left field for 3 consecutive games. So he gave him last night off. A ball and a strike on the Angels left fielder.
It's one of those things, Buck, that, you know, you having been a former manager, you know, there's a lot of things that a manager has to consider and give thought to other than just once the game starts, the decision making that's involved with that, but something such as you just described.
Truly looking at the big picture. Mike Scioscia in his 11th season as the manager of the Angels. Big swing and a miss. 2-2. Scioscia has taken this ball club to the postseason 6 times in his 10 seasons. He has really done a great job, and it's interesting. The Dodgers had him in the organization. He was in AAA with them in '99, and then he gets the job with the Angels. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Juan Rivera. He strikes him out. Second strikeout for Sean Markham.
And you can't really stress it enough, but it's the location of this pitch. That is just a perfect 2-strikeout pitch.
Well, as Greg Maddux would say, Markham has good aim. He can really hit those corners no matter what the count is. 2 down now. Meiser Asturias swings at the first pitch and lifts it down the left field line. It is slicing into foul territory, and Gonzalez makes the catch. Sean Markham gives up a leadoff single and nothing more.
We have already seen here tonight he'll use that fastball to both sides of the plate and back to that changeup. That's what he used 3-2 to strike out Adam Lynn. 3-2 fastball count, throws that changeup. That's what I mean by a power pitcher that still understands how to pitch.
2 strikeouts in that first inning. Vernon Wells will lead things off here in the second. Jumps on the first pitch and drills it high and deep toward the power alley and left and gone. Vernon Wells with number 6 on the season.
Going back to the first week of spring training when you and I were down there covering the Jays, the thing that stood out to me about Vernon Wells was his bat looked quick again. And he is healthy and most certainly off to a great start.
No doubt about this one. High and deep into the seats in left field. Vernon Wells now 2 for 16. Weaver's had his number. First pitch strike right back at him.
But a good approach for me, if you're a right-hander facing Weaver, you get a fastball first pitch out over the plate. Be aggressive.
Don't miss it. Overbay 0-1 pitch pulled outside of first.
I talked to Dwayne Murphy this afternoon about Overbay and what they're working on. He said right now he's just got so much with that open stance, so many moving parts, and it's so difficult for him to find his timing. And they really worked on trying to get that front foot down earlier.
A strikeout for Lyle Overbay, and he's going through a bit of a tough stretch right now. Vernon Wells has really started his season out swinging great. Talking about his wrist is no longer an issue. He can trust his hands, and that's his 736th career RBI. That ties him with George Bell for 3rd on the all-time Jays RBI list. Moving up the ladder. 1 down now for the Jays catcher, John Buck. He takes a first pitch ball. It's a cut fastball, a little late movement, but it took it off the corner. 226 so far. That home run came in the opening game on Monday night against the White Sox. Good rip and fouled it back to the screen. This tandem of John Buck and Jose Molina have really done a good job to get up to speed with this pitching staff. Their first year here. Molina, the former Angel, has got a couple of good games in his starts, and John Buck's done a very good job.
There's another example of Jared Weaver in a fastball count using that little breaking ball, that little slider. Just kind of get me over for a strike, even the count, and of course set this next pitch up.
Yeah, Weaver wasn't too happy with the pitch selection. He was just about to throw a pitch he didn't want to throw.
And he did the right thing. If you're not committed, don't throw it. That oftentimes leads to a mistake that gets hit hard.
Yeah, Jeff Mathis has done most of the catching this year. In past seasons, Mathis and Napoli would split the work behind the plate. But watch the series of shakeoffs. 1, 2, 3. No, I don't want to throw that.
I don't think so. Reset.
That's the one he wanted. Upstairs with the fastball. 4 strikeouts now for Jared Weaver.
And this is a pitch that, you know, if the count's 2-1 and he throws this pitch, possibly it gets hit hard. It wasn't in a great location, but because of the 2-1 pitch being a little bit of a little slider, get me over slider, put it in the back of the hitter's mind, and then he gets beat with the fastball.
Randy Ruiz, the DH, with 2 outs. Big rip. One thing about Randy, he's not going to get cheated. get a chance to play and try to do some damage. Breaking ball. Hard breaking ball. Tough to pick up the spin out of his hand.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And it's always tough. It's tough enough as it is when you haven't been playing and then you get a start and say thanks running me out there against this guy.
0-2 in the dirt. Blocked by Mathis.
But as Cito Gaston said, he's going to get Ruiz in the lineup tonight because he's going to play tomorrow against the left-hander Saunders. So wanted to get him some at-bats tonight to take into tomorrow's ball game. You know, you may not have a lot of success, but at least you can get an idea of where you're at.
1-2 pitch. Ruiz lifts it high toward left field. Torrey Hunter, the center fielder, coasting now just in front of the warning track, and he makes the catch. But Vernon Wells touches up Jared Weaver. Only his second hit in 16 at bats, but it's a big fly. Home run number 6 for Vernon Wells. Him 736 on his career. That ties him with Joe Carter, not George Bell. Sean Markham pitching with the lead, gets ahead of Howie Kendrick, number 8 batter. Pushes him back with a fastball. It's 1-1. Many people see Sean Markham and discount what he can do, but boy, his effectiveness is really a couple of reasons. He's a bulldog and he never gives you a pitch over the middle. Took something off that. Kendrick cued it off the end of the bat.
Yeah, when you get a pitch to hit, like you mentioned earlier, you better not miss it. And everything has some movement. His fastball, a little run, a little sink. And although he'll pitch at 88 to 90 with his fastball, it's actually that changeup. It makes that about 93.
Hot shot, second base. McDowell recovers the ball out of his glove, but he stuck with it and got Howie Kendrick. Good defense again.
Nice play by Johnny Mack. Ball hit very hard on the short hop. Nice job to stay with it and record the out. There you see the backhand. Momentarily got away from him, but able to recover.
One down here in the third. Jays up 1-0. The catcher, Jeff Mathis. I mentioned Mathis doing the majority of the catching so far this year, and Mike Sosa, the manager, likes his presence behind the plate. Sosa, of course, a catcher, understands the value, especially for this team early, because their pitching staff doesn't really feature a lot of experience, and you need a presence behind there that Mathis brings. 2-0. Big cut. And you see John Buck comforting Jim Joyce, the umpire. Looked like he took that one off the mask, and catchers always are going to give the umpire a little bit of break and help them regroup. Maybe off the shoulder.
Right off the top of the right shoulder.
Catchers are always taking care of the umpires, because when they need a break, the umpires will take care of them. Lifted toward the seats. Overbay. Can't make a play. Jeff Mathis with a 2-2 count. Number 9 hitter in the order. The Jays on Vernon Wells' 6th home run of the season. Lead at 1-0.
You know, Buck, you yourself, having been a catcher for 14, 15 years at the major league level, you know, first and foremost, what you have to do as a catcher, number one job, is to do a great job defensively and help your pitcher get through the ball game. And as you mentioned, right now, that is what these Angels need. They need somebody back there that's very good defensively and can help these young pitchers work their way through it.
Mathis fouls back the full count pitch. Let's check in with our partner, Sam Cosentino.
Well, Rance, you talk about that, and John Buck and Dana Evelyn really had that going last night. When I spoke to Evelyn after the game, he said, hey, listen, we had a lot of conversations between innings about how we were approaching guys and why the two were thinking differently. Buck had not caught Evelyn enough for them to be on the same page, but those in-between inning conversations helped guide Evelyn through 6 innings.
Well, it's very difficult to go into a game with a game plan until you really find out what a pitcher is featuring. Dana Evelyn in his first start had fastball changeup, but last night his breaking ball was better, so you do a little tap dance and then change the game plan.
After you've faced a couple of 3 hitters, you kind of get a feel for what's maybe working and what's not working, identify that, and then stay with it. Dana Evelyn did a very, very good job of that last night.
1 out, 1 on for Ibar, the leadoff batter. Shows bunt and pulls the bat back.
And it's interesting, in his previous start, you mentioned the changeup worked very well for him. But Molina caught him in that start last night. Buck catches him, and he uses that curveball. It was very good. So my question being, I wonder if maybe being a different catcher might have had a little something to do with that.
A little bit. Experience, different feel. The ball, no strikes. There goes Mathis swinging a foul back. John Buck's throw to second. Off the glove of Gonzalez. Mathis will head to third. The ball was a little bit into the base runner. Gonzalez looked like he got the ball just about the time Mathis hit his glove, and it'll be a stolen base and an error.
It looked like the runner, Mathis, arrived about the same time as the baseball did, and Alex Gonzalez looked like he realized he had to catch the ball and make a quick snap tag, and maybe left just a little too early with that glove, and it clanked off his pinky finger and into right field.
So now the infield will come in for Abreu, and there just skips over John McDonald's glove. He went to the backhand, and ball hopped over his glove. Mathis scores. So the Angels have tied it up here in the third.
And in this inning, this is the type of baseball that we have seen the Angels play in the past. Start runners off of first base. It leads to a defensive miscue. You bring the infield in, and a ball that otherwise would be an easy out skips through for a base hit, and the Angels are on the board. They haven't played it so much that way this year because their lineup dictates that they can sit back and maybe play for the big inning or the 3-run home run a little more often than they have in the past.
That was the base hit by Ibar. Now Abreu steps in with 1 out and 1 on. The scoring play on the steal was a stolen base for Mathis, and then Mathis goes to third on an E6. Error was charged to Gonzalez. Ibar picks up the RBI, his third of the season, and we're tied at 1. Abreu was retired on a comebacker. Third error of the season for Alex Gonzalez. Abreu out in front. 0-2. Angels are batting here in the third inning. Bobby Abreu, as we often see, is behind in the count, 0-2. Takes a lot of pitches. Not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
He's one of the few hitters that I have ever seen that 0-2 really doesn't mean a whole lot to him.
Ball down, it's 1-2.
There are a lot of hitters 0-2 for all practical purposes. Unless the pitcher really makes a mistake, the at-bat is over. But that's not the case with Abreu.
Ibar at first. Outside, 2-2.
I read recently where Abreu said where it all fell into place for him. He was playing with the Astros. They were in Montreal facing Pedro Martinez. Biggio had doubled to lead off an inning, was at second base with nobody out. He goes to a 1-2 count and flies out to left field. And afterwards, Biggio sat him down and said, look, you got to be a little bit more selective in that situation. If you make an out, it has to be on the right side in order to advance me to third. And he said at that point, the light came on and I had it figured out.
Outside corner. Markham makes another quality pitch, catches Abreu looking. It's the third strikeout for Sean Markham.
Looked like the excellent changeup. You can see the movement down and away, and in a great spot. There's the grip. You can see the changeup grip, and look at that late movement.
Markham throws 2 different changeups, and that obviously ran down and away. A very good pitch to Abreu. 2 down. There goes the runner. Hunter swings on the first pitch and pops it up. Second baseman John McDonald will make the play. Angels tie it up 1-1. Travis Snyder hit his first home run of the season last night against the White Sox. He'll start it off here in the bottom of the third. JShop.ca, the official online shop of the Toronto Blue Jays. Travis Snyder starts off the third. We're tied at 1. Breaking ball inside. Snyder hit a long home run in his first at bat last night. That got the scoring started. His first home run of the season off Freddie Garcia. Weaver missed low. Outside 3-0. There's a strike. Weaver works very quickly. He doesn't give the hitter much time to get too comfortable in the batter's box. 3-1 and a pop-up on the left side of the field. Shortstop, Ibar out. Now Rivera calls him off, and there's one out. Well, we had mentioned that the Blue Jays had made a trade, and there's Fred Lewis, who is just arrived in Toronto. They got him from the San Francisco Giants. .277 career hitter. He's got some speed, 34 steals. Played 2 years ago, had 20 steals in a season, and was an interesting addition to this ball club, adding some depth to Cito Gaston's bench. Welcome. One down for the number 9 hitter, John McDonald. Fred Lewis, just a process of adding talented players to the system, continuing to build up the inventory, if you will, and certainly leaning toward athleticism and speed. One out here in the third. McDonald swings, pops it back. For more on Fred Lewis, let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, the Blue Jays had their eye on Fred Lewis going back to spring training, and when he became available, it was extremely convenient that while rehabbing an oblique injury with Fresno, it happened to be that Fresno was playing in Las Vegas. So for the last 4 days, they really got a first-hand look at Fred Lewis. Of course, the deal completed last night.
McDonald with a good cut at a fastball, fouls it back. Well, I think around baseball, athleticism is really coming into vogue, and certainly Alex Anthopoulos, the GM, has been hard at work trying to refine this roster early in the season. McDonald swings and pops it down the right field line, slicing into foul territory, and nobody will get to it. McDonald stays alive.
You try to mix and match a little bit. You know, the first, as we've talked about, the first 50 or 60 games of the season, you're really trying to figure out what kind of ball club you have. And, of course, that dictates, you know, who you run out there every day and the type of game or approach you're going to have.
Well, I certainly think Cito Gaston and Bruce Walton, both in regards to Cito as the manager, Walton as the pitching coach, understand that they're going to be patient. They're going to watch what these guys do and see who grabs hold of the reins and takes off. Breaking ball, you go too far. Yes, said Marv Hudson down at first base. Now there's going to be a throw. McDonald hustling down the line. The ball got away from Mathis, but he's retired 2-3 on the play.
You get a good look from behind home plate, the high camera behind home plate, and in the judgment of the first base umpire Marvin Hudson, John McDonald got out there a little too far.
So there are 2 down now, and Jose Bautista, the third baseman, will bat for a second time. Takes the fastball down.
Yeah, last year late in the season, Buck, when given the opportunity to play on a consistent day-to-day basis, he really began to find himself at the plate. And of course that carried over into spring training. He's off to a little bit of a slow start in the early going. But the key for him, kind of in a sense like it is for Overbay, he has to make sure he gets started in time and gets that front foot down early enough.
1-1 right on the corner. Tough pitch. Batista wasn't so sure that was a strike. One thing about Jim Joyce, the home plate umpire, you know when he calls a strike. I love it. A ball and 2 strikes, 2 down here, bottom of the third. A ball in the dirt.
You notice Jared Weaver, when the count's 2-1, he's just trying to throw me that get-me-over breaking ball. It doesn't have near the bite to it, but when he gets ahead, such as a 1-2 count, so far this evening, he's done a very good job of burying it. It's either down and out of the strike zone or in the dirt.
Outside corner, strike 3. Jared Weaver has struck out 2 in each of the first 3 innings. 6 on the night. We're tied at 1. Erwin Santana, the hard-throwing right-hander, against Ricky Romero, coming off a great start last time out. 1 hit over 8 innings. 416-341-1234 for tickets, or you can log on to BlueJays.com. Let's come out and see a great weekend series, and certainly a chance to see Ricky Romero after that fine performance against the White Sox. Hideki Matsui singled in his first at bat. Average up to 333 early on. At the bottom of the strike zone. Cued off the end of the bat. You don't see many wild swings from Matsui, but Markham had him fooled.
Definitely had him fooled with that changeup. Well out in front of it. But he has, for the most part, a lot of discipline. We talked about it in his first at bat. He knows what he's looking for. He has great pitch recognition and typically does not swing at anything that he isn't looking for.
Pretty good pitch right there. Just missed the outside corner. Matsui's 35 years old. He's got 7 years in the big leagues, and all those years with the Yankees. Tried it again.
And all those years with the Yankees, and again here with the Angels this year. For me, Buck, he's a guy in a big situation or an RBI situation when you need a quality at bat. If you're the opposition, he's the man you don't want to see at the plate.
3-2 pitch to Matsui. He strikes him out. Another good battle by Markham to get Matsui. 4 strikeouts for Markham.
Sometimes as a hitter, 3-2, you sell out to the fastball. And that last pitch you could see from Markham, the bottom fell out of that one and just disappeared on Matsui.
1 out here in the 4th. Good curveball. First time he's introduced that to the Angels. We told you at the beginning of the show the contrasting styles. Markham has 4 strikeouts with combination of pitches, and Weaver has 6 with power. Pushed him back. And Markham throws most of his pitches with an intent. That pitch right there, designed to put the outside corner in his mind, maybe protect the outside corner, or he can back it up inside again. Swinging a drive towards center. That ball is hit hard. Vernon Wells will watch it sail out of the ballpark. Kendry Morales, his 3rd home run of the season, has given the Angels a 2-1 lead.
One of the few times tonight that Markham has missed his spot. He wanted to go back inside, and as you could see, the ball ran back out over the middle of the plate. And it was a mistake that he did not get away with. Morales driving it out of here to not the deepest part of the park.
1 out for Juan Rivera now. Takes his strike. You could see John Buck was set up inside. They wanted to throw that 2-seamer that's off the plate and catches the inside corner. Just got too much of the plate. Breaking ball pulled fair at third base. Bautista up in a hurry. Good throw to first, and he got it. Good play on both ends. Bautista with the backhand and a strong throw, and then Overbay dug it out of the dirt.
Well, Bautista, you could make the argument that he's as good an athlete as there is on this Jays ball club. Great athleticism there, and then a nice play on the back end by Overbay to pick up that tough in-between hop.
2 down. Meiser Asturis, the 3rd baseman tonight. Takes a strike. We had mentioned pitching and defense has really played well early for the Jays, and we saw a good sampling of that with Bautista's play. The curveball laid off of it. Dale Cousins down at 3rd. He's the crew chief. Doing one to Asturis, pulled toward the mound. Markham with an easy flip to Overbay, and Asturis is retired. But the Angels take the lead on Kendry Morales' 3rd home run of the season. Morales long to center. Markham knew it. Junior Jays Saturday begins tomorrow, April 17th, when the Blue Jays take on the Angels, beginning at 1:07 p.m. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases. Call 416-341-1234 or log on to BlueJays.com or check out most Rogers locations. The first Junior Jays program of the season. Alex Gonzalez will lead it off here in the fourth. Angels lead it 2-1. Jays have but one hit against Jared Weaver. That was Vernon Wells' 6th home run of the season, leading off the second. Weaver making his 7th start of his career against Toronto. 5-1 against the Blue Jays.
So far tonight, Buck, it's just been a repeat performance for him of what he's done in the past against the Jays.
Well, and I really like the way he took charge of this game, and he was having some trouble with Jeff Mathis early in the game. Was about to throw a pitch and said, wait a minute, I don't want to throw that pitch. But the pitcher is the one that makes the final decision. He's the one that has to commit to the pitch, and if he doesn't believe in it, he's not going to throw it effectively. And Weaver made sure that he didn't throw a half-hearted pitch. Good pitch right in on the hands, and Gonzalez fights it off. Alex Gonzalez, we mentioned his 4-hit game a night ago. He has 6 doubles and 4 home run already. 10 extra base hits. Leads the majors.
And Jared Weaver really has a lot of options now with the count 1 and 2 and the pitch sequence. Buried that last fastball in on the hands of Gonzalez, and that really sets up that hard breaking ball if he elects to go to it here. And just didn't get it close enough to entice the hitter.
Well, as you mentioned, when he gets to 2 strikes, he will bury that breaking ball. He's not going to try to throw a strike with it. He's going to try to get these hitters to chase it.
And again, he still has options. He can double up with the breaking ball or come back with that good hard fastball.
Cued off the end of the bat. It's in fair territory. Morales will take it and step on the bag. Gonzalez is retired.
And another great example, we talked about it earlier. Jared Weaver is a power pitcher, but he understands and knows pitching. The last pitch was a changeup. Maybe the second or third time he's used it in the ball game tonight. It was a pitch that Gonzalez had not seen through the course of the at-bat, and it was a very effective pitch for him.
Adam Lynn steps in against Weaver. 2-1 Angels. Breaking ball pulled on the right side. Howie Kendrick has it on a big hop. 2 down. Vernon Wells will bat with 2 outs here. He has the only hit off Jared Weaver. That came in the second.
Not wasting any time. The first pitch he saw, fastball up and out over the plate, and Vernon Wells is off to a tremendous start here this season. That bat is quick again. He's healthy, and it's really paying off for him at the plate.
His 6th home run, and he's driven in 11. Fights it off, that upstairs fastball. Well, you mentioned Vernon Wells is quick again with his hands. He had wrist surgery in the offseason and tried to play with that damaged wrist last year, and now he's got quickness back, and he believes he can get the barrel to the ball.
When you have a wrist that's bothering you or an injury that affects your swing, you begin to cheat to try to get to the fastball, and that creates a lot of other problems. But when the bat gets quickened again, you get your confidence back very quickly.
And a good cut at that ball down. 2-2 now to Vernon Wells.
And that was some of the problem that David Ortiz had in the early going last year. He had a bad wrist, had trouble catching up with the fastball, and then that led to other problems for him.
2-2, ball 3. Full count.
You always know, Buck, as a hitter, when the bat feels quick, when you know your bat's quick, you automatically have a lot of confidence because you know that you can catch up with that good fastball.
Popped up. Down the first baseline. Kenry Morales in foul territory makes the play. 3 up, 3 down inning for Jared Weaver. He's been in charge. Beautiful night. Rogers Center with the roof closed. Angels lead it 2-1. Gear up for the 2010 season and sign up with MLB.TV. Watch over 2,000 games live or on demand in high definition quality. Packages start at $99.99. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Howie Kendrick leads things off for the Angels here in the 5th. Angels up 2-1. 1-1 count on the Angels' second baseman. Swing and a line drive right into the glove of Lyle Overbay. 1 down.
Well, the second time tonight that Howie Kendrick has hit the ball right on the nose and has nothing to show for it. He ball very hard his first at bat at John McDonald, and now it lines out to Overbay at first base.
Well, Mickey Hatcher mentioned that some of the Angels were hitting in tough luck, and you can put Kendrick's name in that column. Mickey, 11th year as the hitting coach here with Mike Scioscia. 1 down. Jeff Mathis takes the strike. Mathis got the Angels going in the 3rd inning. He walked, stole second, went to third on the air, and scored on the base hit by Ibar. There he swings and slashes one into the gap in right center. It'll go all the way to the wall. Mathis around first. He coasts into second with a stand-up double. His first double of the season. He has been swinging a hot bat, and that's why he's back behind the dish.
And he goes with this pitch beautifully, driving it into right center. A breaking ball out away from him. And he really stayed through the ball. And it's ironic somewhat the fact that Mike Scioscia ran him back there behind the plate because he wanted his defensive ability and presence behind the plate as a catcher, and he's really taking advantage of it, and he's off to a great start with a bat.
Well, now John Buck's going to talk things over with Sean Markham, with Eric Ibar at the plate, just to make sure they're on the same page. And a little smile on Markham's face suggests maybe they got their signals crossed a bit, with Mathis at second base. Ibar, RBI single in the third. Hit it past the glove of John McDonald. The infield was drawn in, and he hit a clean single into center field. Swing and hits it on the ground. McDonald waits for Overbay and retires Ibar. Mathis moves to third on the play, but they're 2 down.
Yeah, they're 2 down, but now you have to face a very, very tough out in this type of a situation in Bobby Abreu. And the way that Jared Weaver is pitching tonight in this ball game against the Jays, Sean Markham most certainly, at least you would think, has to have that on his mind and feel like probably at this point, even though it's still early on, you may not be able to afford giving up another run.
Is this where Abreu changes his patient approach?
Possibly, and based upon the way that Sean Markham has pitched to him in his first 2 at-bats in this game, a lot of off-speed, a lot of slow stuff away. It wouldn't surprise me if Abreu looks to try to slap that ball into left field or back up the middle.
Takes a strike on the outside.
Very smart hitter, and does make adjustments very quickly.
He was caught looking into third when Markham made a good pitch on the outside corner for strike 3.
And you have to believe that Sean Markham's going to stay with his bread and butter, and that's soft away. As a left-handed hitter facing Sean Markham in this situation, would probably not be a good idea, but to look for something hard middle in, because they're definitely going to probably try to make you stay back and take the ball the other way.
Up and in. Just wonder if Markham is kind of pitching around him and not really wanting to give in to Abreu, recognizing what he's up against with Weaver throwing so well. He's got a right-handed hitter, albeit Torrey Hunter, but he's right-handed on deck.
Yeah, he most certainly doesn't have to give in this situation.
He's missed away. Yeah, he knows what he's doing here. He's not necessarily just coming in there to Abreu. Even though Torrey Hunter's got a great track record, he's still right-handed against right-handed. Swinging a drive toward left field, and Adam Lind is not going to get it. Abreu with a base hit into left. Drives into third. Angel run. 3-1. Angels.
And this is just an experienced veteran hitter, and it pays off for him. Finally gives in, looks for the ball out over the plate, and just takes it into left field. Tries to pull that ball. It's a ground ball to Johnny McDonald or Lyle Overbay.
Well, Abreu expanded his zone a little bit and slapped it into left. Torrey Hunter 0 for 2 tonight. Outside.
Of course, Abreu, a threat to run off of first base, and he doesn't run like he used to. He has slowed down a little bit, but he did steal 30 bases last year, and very intelligent base runner off of first base. If he feels like he's got a read and can get a jump, he will run.
Went too far. Hunter's really in between against Markham. He's trying to stay back and then indecisive as he checked his swing, but went too far. A ball and a strike on Torrey Hunter, number 3 hitter in the lineup. He hits with 2 down here. Angels have single runs in each of their last 3 innings, including that RBI base hit by Abreu here in the 5th. Really interesting that Markham was trying to pitch around Bobby Abreu. Abreu expanded the zone. 0 for 2 tonight. Torrey Hunter is 3 for 17 against Markham.
Not so much maybe a mistake by Sean Markham, but just a very good job of hitting by Bobby Abreu. And oftentimes you want your RBI guys in your lineup on occasions such as that runner at third, Abreu at the plate, sometimes to expand that strike zone just a little bit and drive in the runs.
So Markham with a 2-2 count, 2 down to Torrey Hunter. Abreu's at first. There goes Abreu. Pitch down. Buck can't handle it. Abreu with the stolen base, his first of the season. John Buck got handcuffed on that pitch.
Now that's a situation, tough pitch for John Buck to handle, and probably would not have been able to throw Abreu out. See this ball down in the dirt, even if he handles it cleanly. But you have to think that in that situation, or at least be aware of the fact that Abreu, if he's going to run, that's a great count for him to run in 1 and 2 to Torrey Hunter. If he gets thrown out, Hunter leads off the next inning with a fresh count. And if he doesn't, he's in scoring position.
3-2 to Hunter. He slashes it down the right field line, and that's going to be up against the wall. Abreu comes around third. He will score. Hunter goes into second, and the ball is cut off. 2 2-out hits here in the fifth. Good veteran hitters, Abreu and Torrey Hunter, going the opposite way against Markham.
And it looks like, that third time around, as you mentioned, Buck, these veteran hitters have made the adjustment. Abreu goes the other way. Now Torrey Hunter follows it up, driving a ball down into the right field corner. And that's just veteran hitters adjusting to what the pitcher's doing to them.
Bruce Walton is out to talk to Markham.
Sometimes you fall in love a little bit with a certain pattern if you're a pitcher, or a certain pitch, a go-to pitch, which for the most part is his changeup. But it's still important to not forget to show these hitters that fastball inside once in a while to keep them honest. And right now, clearly, the Angels are just laying out over the plate on Sean Markham.
Another tough hitter in Hideki Matsui, batting with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Had a single to center in the second. Off the plate. This lineup we talked about, the Angels not really hitting on all cylinders offensively, but they certainly have the personnel to put up good offensive numbers.
They most certainly do. If you look at Abreu, Hunter, Matsui, Morales, they had some, Abreu, Hunter, Matsui have proven over a long period of time that they're great run producers and can do it. And of course, Kendry Morales really came into his own last year, and he's homered tonight. So the firepower is there. They just, sometimes that hitting is cyclical or it gets contagious, and sometimes a ball game like the Angels are having this evening maybe can get you going offensively.
4-1 Angels. Matsui swings and pops it out of play. The Angels at the start of this game were 3-7 in their first 10 games. That ties the franchise record for the second worst start over the first 10 games. The last time they went 3-7 was back in 2002. And we know what they did in 2002. They won the World Series. This team is not about to panic. Mike Scioscia is just going to let his team kind of develop their personality here early. Hideki Matsui swings and drives it toward left. Adam Lynn on the run, on the warning track, makes the catch. Matsui's retired, but Sean Markham is touched for 2 runs here in the 5th inning. Angels lead it 4-1. American League, Aaron Hill.
All right, put it on right. Let's go serious face.
Well, he was a quick study lining that ball right back through the box.
Adam Lynn takes a pitch. Great opportunity. Jays Care Foundation. April 26th. Lyle Overbay will lead it off here in the 5th.
Touched on it in his first at bat what he and Dwayne Murphy, the hitting coach for the Jays, worked on in the cage just prior to regular batting practice on the field was just to try to make sure you get that front foot down soon enough.
Swinging a ground ball to second base. Kendrick with the backhand and retires Lyle Overbay. Sean Markham has given up 2 runs in the 5th inning. You can see he's a little frustrated going into the dugout. You know, he made some decent pitches, but probably just thinking about some of the location. Henry Morales hit a home run in the 4th inning. He's trying to get a fastball inside and just caught a little bit more of the plate than he wanted. John Buck swings at a breaking ball.
Well, in that last inning, you do have to give some credit to the Angels. They did a nice job of adjusting, but he also in the last inning had a lot of trouble commanding his changeup.
John Buck pulls it outside the bag at third.
He just couldn't come up with a quality pitch with it when he needed it.
Jared Weaver in the 4th inning had a 1-2-3 4th inning, but it was the 1st inning in which he didn't strike out a hitter. He has 6 strikeouts tonight. A high changeup gets John Buck, make it 7 strikeouts.
John Buck trying to bring his hands in and make the adjustment, but unable to fight off a tough pitch.
Well, that's a perfect example of a pitcher missing his spot by 3 feet and still getting a strikeout. 2 outs. Andy Ruiz fouls it back. How many times we heard pitchers say, well, I only made a couple of mistakes all night. Well, that was a mistake, but he gets the strikeout, trying to go down and away. See how quickly Weaver works, really keeping pressure on the Jays hitters.
And as a hitter, if you're facing Jared Weaver, you really better have a plan and stay with it. And when you get a mistake, you better not miss it.
Swing right on the ground to Esturis. Ruiz is retired. Another 3 up, 3 down inning for Jared Weaver. He's given up just 1 hit. The Angels lead it 4-1.
Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Let's take a look at the starting pitching line for these two tonight. Weaver, 5 innings, 1 hit ball, 7 strikeouts, no walks. Markham has given up 6 hits and 4 runs through 5 innings. Kenry Morales leads off the 6th. Weaver has retired 12 straight, going back to the 2nd inning. Sean Markham making his 5th career start against the Angels. Morales takes a big cut and misses. His last start, May 31st of 2008, in Anaheim, went 7 innings. Was saddled with a no decision. 1-2 to Morales. Strikes him out. There's that changeup diving, and Morales goes down swing.
Well, it was obvious that he wasn't going to try to get that fastball in again and run the risk of missing out over the plate.
Angels are up 4-1 here with 1 out in the 6th on Rivera. 0 for 2 tonight. Hard on the ground, but right to the 3rd baseman. Rivera is retired. Two down. Bit of a bounce back inning here for Markham. Made some good pitches. 2 quick outs. Asturias bats and takes a strike. Meiser Asturias is 0 for 2. Overbay. Underhand to Markham. Good bounce back inning for Sean Markham. 3 up, 3 down. Now he needs some support. 4-1 Angels. Tomorrow against the Angels. Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Tomorrow, pregame show begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time. And Joe Saunders against Brian Talent. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Angels up 4-1 here. as the Jays batting the 6th. 8, 9, and 1. Travis Snyder will start it off. Takes a curveball in there for strike one. Weaver has retired 12 straight. The only hit, Vernon Wells' home run in the 2nd. Two balls and a strike. Weaver has 7 strikeouts. He's not walked the batter. In there with a strike. Well, he is working quickly. Feels good about what he's featuring tonight. Inside corner, strike 3.
Well, Travis Snyder, you could tell by his reaction, felt like the ball might have been a little bit down. But Jim Joyce has been very consistent tonight. He's like that pitch that's down, maybe borderline. At times, maybe a little out of the strike zone, but he has been very consistent with his call on that pitch all evening.
And from the side, it certainly looked high enough. 8 strikeouts now for the Angels' big right-hander.
And when you're pounding the zone and throwing strikes, that's when sometimes that strike zone begins to expand for you. Yeah, you kind of get that umpire into the rhythm of calling a strike, and it's only natural that once in a while you're going to get a call here or there go your way.
Donald goes too far on a breaking ball. 0-2. Weaver and Mathis again having a little trouble getting together here, but he's got so many options. 0-2 to McDonald. No sign they're ready to go. Missed with the fastball. Swinging a base hit into left field. John McDonald with the second hit tonight. That snaps a string of 13 straight retired by Jared Weaver. A one-out base hit.
And one of the few times tonight that Jared Weaver has made a mistake. This one pretty much right down Broadway, and John McDonald takes advantage of it.
Well, that'll turn the lineup over. 4-1 Angels. Bautista has struck out twice tonight. Takes the first pitch, strike from Weaver.
And when you're facing a Jared Weaver as sharp as he is tonight, it really doesn't make a lot of sense to try to work the count. You might as well, if you get a fastball early, be aggressive with it, because clearly he's not going to pitch himself into trouble due to wildness.
Looked like he threw another high changeup, and Bautista had a good cut but was out in front of it. He had a changeup strikeout on John Buck back in the 5th. When he threw it upstairs, he was trying to go down and away, and that's the only pitch that he's really not had great command of. 0-2 on the leadoff batter, Jose Bautista. Lays off a breaking ball.
That's what I was referring to earlier. If you look at this at bat, the best pitch so far in this pitch sequence that Bautista seemed to hit was the first pitch fastball, and he took it.
Swings and grounds it towards short. Ivor boots it, but the ball goes right to Kendrick for the force out. Wow. Tough break. Eric Ivor bobbled the ball, but it bounced right to the second baseman.
It appeared as if Eric Ibar at the last moment looked up just a little too quickly, and the ball hits him on the heel of the glove, but fortunately for him and the Angels, it bounces right to the second baseman, Kendrick. Otherwise, the Jays would have had a little something going here in this inning.
That's just a bad break. You get a ground ball and got a chance to have two on, but then the ball is deflected right to the second baseman who's standing on the bag. Alex Gonzalez will bat with two down. Swing and drives it towards center. Long run for Torrey Hunter, but he gets there in time and makes the play. So Jared Weaver gives up a hit, but then gets out of it. He strands a base runner. He's still out in front of the Jays by 3.
Eric Ibar knows if he handles that cleanly, it's an easy double play. He was disappointed in the fact that he booted it and they only got one out, but watch his pitcher let him know. You love to play behind a guy like this. He'll look at him, and we didn't see it there, but he clapped his hands and said, "That's all right, let's go, I'll pick you up."
Yeah, defense will pick up pitchers so often, and every once in a while, a pitcher's got to pick up the defense. Howie Kendrick, number 8 hitter, 0 for 2 tonight, but he's hit the ball sharply both times. This time he gets jammed, breaks his bat, comes up with a base hit, so I guess they do kind of even out every once in a while. First hit of the night for Howie Kendrick. Jeremy Accardo begins to loosen up down in the bullpen. So Kendrick's aboard with no outs here. Angels can do a lot of things now. Number 9 hitter Jeff Mathis has walked and doubled. He's scored 2 runs tonight. Play hit and run, and Markham's going to check out Howie Kendrick. They can start the runner. They can play sacrifice. They can just let Mathis swing away. A double, a walk, and scored 2 runs. He's also had a stolen base. There's the bunt attempt, and he pushes it foul. Well, Mike Scioscia will not settle for anything less than full effort, and he's not settling for 3 runs here tonight. He knows this Jays team is explosive, and they can strike anywhere in their lineup. So he wants to add to this 3-run lead here in the 7th.
He feels like Mathis can move the runner over. Now we go back to the top of the lineup. We pick up another run here and make it a 4-run ball game. He really has to feel pretty good about his chances of winning the game at that point.
There goes Kendrick, swing and a miss. Throw from John Buck. In time. Right on the money to nail Howie Kendrick.
Well, first of all, this is Mike Scioscia at his best. You think they're going to stay with the sack bunt. Instead, they start the runner, play a little hit and run, a swing and a miss, and a great throw right on the money by John Buck. It had to be perfect, and it was.
Good tag by John McDonald. He got in position early and was able to slap the tag on it. John Buck guns him down. And there's the strikeout. Leadoff base hit, but they erase Howie Kendrick, throw him out of second, and Jeff Mathis goes down swinging. Sixth strikeout of the night for Sean Markham. Leadoff hitter Eric Ibar will bat with 2 down here.
Now, Buck, that situation where the runner at first, they tried to sack bunt. Then they start the runner, play a little hit and run, swing and miss, and you throw the runner out at second base. Now, this next time, as a catcher, that same situation's develops. What are your thoughts? I mean, what are you thinking behind the plate?
Well, you know that's an option, something that Scioscia will always think about. You can ask him to bunt again, or he's got good speed, and Howie Kendrick can run. There's just a lot of options, and it makes it a lot easier when you've got a 3-run cushion. You can roll the dice a little bit. That time it backfired. Markham's behind Ibar. 2 balls and no strikes. There's a strike. John Buck throwing out Howie Kendrick, first base runner he's caught in 9 attempted steals this year. And I'll tell you what, he's been throwing the ball a lot better than those numbers reflect. 2-1 foul down the left field line. Tonight he had a tough one early in the game when Abreu was told the ball was in the dirt and he couldn't really come up with it.
And then another one that Alex Gonzalez trying to apply the tag very quickly. The ball went off his glove into right field. And if Gonzalez catches the ball cleanly, he might have had another runner caught stealing this evening.
Foul down the right field line. Yeah, so many things have to work for you. The timing, the release of the pitcher, accuracy of your throw, and the middle infielders getting there in time. A lot of things have to go right.
The pitch itself.
103 pitches now for Markham. Continues to battle. Checks to see that it's a 2-2 count. 2 outs. Ibar hooks it foul down the right field line. One thing we have seen all year long from this Jays starting rotation is the ability to pitch late into a game. They keep you in a ball game. That's such an asset. Keeps your bullpen fresh. Defense knows the pitcher stays out there for 6-7 innings. You know what kind of pattern he establishes. Lots of good things happen. 2-2. Ibar on the ground. Gonzalez sets himself, guns to Overbay for the out. Leadoff base hit, but Markham has another good inning. Lind, Wells, and Overbay will try to get this team back in the game. BlueJays.com, or you can pick up tickets at most Rogers Plus locations. The Royals will wrap up this 3-team, 10-game season opening homestand. Part of the order for the Jays here in the 7th against Jared Weaver, and there's a changeup over for strike one. Lind, Wells, and Overbay. 4-1 Angels. Jays have connected for just 2 hits tonight. Vernon Wells, a solo home run in the 2nd, and John McDonald, a 1-out single in the 6th. One concern early for Mike Scioscia's bullpen is they don't have their closer. Ryan Fuentes is on the disabled list. They have Fernando Rodney, who more than likely will fill his shoes. But like Mike Scioscia has done in the past, they don't have a left-handed reliever down there. So it'd be interesting to see just what develops here in the later stages of this game.
Well, that last pitch from Jared Weaver was his 85th on the night here in the bottom of the 7th. So
swinging a hot shot off the glove of Kendrick into right field.
It is possible that he may not have to use his bullpen tonight. We'll have to wait and see.
Base hit for Adam Lind.
Well, it was not an easy play for Howie Kendrick. The ball hit off the bat, just into the bat just a little bit, but it looked like he had it flagged right here, and it maybe did a little something funny with that hop. It looked like maybe it took off on him a little bit more than he expected.
Vernon Wells with a man on. Ahead with a strike. Wells homered and popped up to the first baseman.
This is where power becomes so important in the course of the game. You're down 3 runs. It's getting late. Jared Weaver on top of his game, so it's not likely that you're going to be able to bunch 3 or 4 hits against him in an inning and score 2 or 3 runs. You're pretty much to a point in the ball game where you need to get a runner or 2 on board and somebody hit a ball in the gap or out of the ballpark to get back in it.
Well off the plate. 2 balls and a strike to Vernon Wells. Well, the Jays have done a good job of hitting the ball out of the ballpark early on. And Jared Weaver is a guy, like you mentioned, it's not going to give up a lot of base hits. So just get him in a good spot here. Outside corner. What a good pitch. 2 balls and a strike right on the black.
He's done it all night long when he's on the few occasions when he's had to come up with a quality pitch behind in the count. He's been able to do it. That last one to Vernon Wells was in a perfect spot. You know, Vernon was looking for something he could drive.
Base hit left side.
And that was just a good piece of hitting. After 4 fastballs, he gets a breaking ball. It's down. He's trying to get it away, and it ends up in the middle of the plate, but still a pretty good pitch. But Wells with a nice job to really stay on it and go down and get it and drive it hard on the ground between short and third.
Vernon knows they just need some base runners. Got to get on. That brings the tying run to the plate.
That's an excellent point, Buck. 2-1, he was looking for a pitch to drive. 2-2, he gave in a little bit, and it paid off.
The Angels have given up 17 home runs, most in the majors. Their starters have given up 14, also the most in the majors. Breaking ball, over base, swings and misses.
And when you're struggling to find yourself at the plate, that's what you'll oftentimes do. You find yourself kind of flailing away at about everything they throw up there because you're just not picking the baseball up. You're not seeing the ball well.
In the dirt. Lynn headed for third, and he is out at third base. Adam Lynn took a gamble. Jeff Mathis, we talked about what a great athlete he is behind the plate. He pounced on that ball quickly.
A lot of catchers in this league. Adam Lynn would have been able to move over to third base, but this is why Mike Scioscia has Mathis in the ball game. Look at the quickness and the athleticism, just becoming an infielder, if you will. Throwing off balance, quick snap throw, and right on the money.
Now the key to that play was Mathis never went to his knees. He stayed on his feet. So Wells is at second with one out. Over base, slices it down the left field line, out of play.
And that was also a situation with nobody out that, you know, as the runner off of second base, well, you have to make sure that you can make it.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You've got Weaver in a jam. You've got to be 100% certain you can move up. Overbay, a ball and 2 strikes. You go too far. Appeal. No appeal. No home plate umpire. Jim Joyce said I had it all the way. 2-2. Overbay drives it toward right. Abreu's got a beat on it. Wells is tagging at second. He'll move up on the play. But there are 2 down. Overbay just got it down toward the end of the bat, and Abreu was able to make the play on it. 2 down now. John Buck will bat.
Tell by Overbay's reaction that he knew he didn't get it.
So now John Buck with Wells at third base will bat with 2 outs. 4-1 Angels. Cut on the fastball. Well, even in this situation with a base runner at third base, Weaver has to have the confidence that Mathis can block that ball in the dirt should he go to the breaking ball, given what Mathis has done tonight.
Say probably pretty confident about his ability to keep that ball in front of him.
Throws the breaking ball.
And there's another example of just what you pointed out, Buck. That ball in the dirt, but he wasn't afraid to make sure that he got that ball down and out of the strike zone and buried it.
Yeah, if you get a pitcher worried about whether or not the catcher can block it, he'll hang that breaking ball 9 times out of 10. No balls and 2 strikes. John Buck with 2 outs. Another breaking ball in the dirt. Weaver gave up back-to-back hits to start the 7th. But then on a ball in the dirt, Adam Lynn broke from second toward third, and he was gunned down by the catcher, Jeff Mathis. And then Overbay flied out to right. Weaver has held the Jays to just 4 hits. That was his 100th pitch, and look at the efficiency. Averaging about 14 pitches an inning. Breaking ball to Asturias. Go across the diamond, and Buck's retired. Jays get 2 on to start the inning, but Weaver absolutely shuts him down. Sean Markham appears to be done here. 7 innings, and Jeremy Accardo will come out of the pen. Angels lead it 4-1. 10, the show, only on PlayStation.
Sean Markham with 7 innings of work this evening, gave up just 7 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned. 6 strikeouts, and overall a pretty good performance with the exception of the 5th inning when he struggled a little bit. And give credit to the Angels, especially Bobby Abreu and Torrey Hunter, who came up with a couple of big hits, made nice adjustments at that inning. And right now it's a pretty comfortable ball game for the Angels.
Jeremy Accardo will come out of the bullpen and work here the top half of the 8th inning. Accardo will face Bobby Abreu and get out in front of him with a strike. Abreu, as Rance mentioned, that big 2-out opposite field RBI single in the 5th. And he came around to score on Torrey Hunter's opposite field double. Alfredo Griffin showing he still has those great hands. He was here twice as a player and as a coach. Now he's a prominent member of Mike Scioscia's coaching staff.
One of my all-time favorites as a teammate. Great competitor, always had fun.
Well, he had fun because he could play well. 1-2 to Abreu, outside corner, he gets it. Abreu goes down looking for the 2nd time tonight. Ricardo racks up his first strikeout.
Like a split finger, something off speed. And completely fooled Bobby Abreu.
Torrey Hunter. Big RBI in the 5th. Just the 6th run driven in for Hunter this season.
But he is off to a good start, hitting .342.
Well, that just reflects the fact that the overall lineup is not really swinging well as a club yet. Even though they're hitting .260 as a team, they just haven't really had their offense clicking. Well, you play 10 games and things are going to happen. As we mentioned, they got off to the 2nd worst start in their history over 10 games. Starting out 3-7. Hunter drives it into left center for a base hit. And Lynn gets it back in. Let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Buck, one note of mention with the acquisition of Fred Lewis, in order to make room in the 40-man roster, they had to declare Dustin McGowan onto the 60-day disabled list. So what that means, it's backdated to the 26th of March. Not likely now to see McGowan until about the 1st of June based on that 60-day DL placement.
Yeah, and when you take a player and put him on the 60-day DL, it removes him from the 40-man roster, so you open up a spot for Fred Lewis. And it's been a tough go for Dustin McGowan. He was throwing so well at the start of spring training. Fred Lewis picked up in a trade with the Giants. Got to the ballpark here right about the start of the game. Hideki Matsui takes a strike, 1-1.
Hey, you were talking, Buck, about the Angels and their tough start this year. And if you had a young ball club, maybe you would have a little bit of concern about how they were going to respond. But when you take the core of this team with Abreu, Hunter, and Matsui, veterans, they've been around. They're not going to panic. They know that it's going to come around and they're going to get on track.
In the dirt, past Buck all the way to the backstop, and Torrey Hunter moves into second. wild pitch on Jeremy Accardo puts a runner in scoring position. Well, the Angels have some new faces, and they lost some real consistent performers. Vladdy Guerrero, Sean Figgins, John Lackey in the starting rotation, Darren Oliver. I mean, some important pieces to a championship club, and it takes you a while to figure out how those players are going to be replaced. Who's going to step up and fill the void? We have Abreu as a leader, and Jared Weaver will likely move into that #1 role that Lackey filled so effectively over his career.
Jared Weaver, 51 and 27.
That'll do it. Matsui takes a strike
in his career so far, and he won 16 games last year and lost 8. So you'd have to say at this point he's established himself now as the ace of this staff, and then you just have to build around him and hope that, you know, Saunders, Santana pitch to their ability.
2-2 to Matsui. Defensive swing, and it's fouled out of play. Yeah, Scott Kazmir made his first start in the Yankees series, slowed by injury out of spring training. And then Joel Pinheiro signed as a free agent, most recently from the Cardinals, and I'm just trying to get a feel for their 5-man rotation, see just exactly how it's going to come together. Just missed inside. Scott Kazmir, acquired in a trade last year from Tampa Bay, went to the Angels, and once hard throwing left-hander. Had a little trouble last time out with his slider, couldn't really get command of that slider, and he was out there trying to get the Yankees out basically on fastball changeup. 3-2 to Matsui. Well, Mike Scioscia likes what he has seen so far in his new DH, Matsui, hitting .317. Matsui got his World Series ring when the club visited New York. To be able to receive that in the ceremony was kind of special. He was the last player introduced and got his World Series ring. Another foul ball. The interesting thing about that was Derek Jeter presented it to him in a wooden box, and he opened it up, and it was a replica ring that they had given away in spring training.
Wasn't it smaller?
Yeah, it was like plastic.
Plastic or something.
And Matsui kind of expected that to come from Jeter.
And then Joe Girardi, the manager, I believe, actually gave him the authentic ring. But you sure, if you saw that event, you sure it was very obvious how much respect and appreciation that the Yankees and his teammates had for Matsui and his professionalism and what he had meant to that ball club.
He was the MVP in the World Series against Philadelphia and came up with big hit after big hit.
Well, against Pedro, it was Matsui 4 and Philly nothing in the early going. He had a home run and a two-run home run and a 2-run single early on in that ball game.
Accardo having a tough time finishing off Matsui here. It'll be another full count pitch. Torrey Hunter's at second base. He singled and advanced on the wild pitch. There's ball 4.
Well, the nemesis for Jeremy Accardo throughout his career, a very good arm, very good stuff, but he just hasn't been able to consistently locate and throw quality strikes. Wildness has always given him a problem, and he's pitched himself into a little bit of trouble here in this inning.
Cito Gaston giving Bruce Walton his wishes about who might start throwing. There goes Torrey Hunter to third. The throw from John Buck, no throw. Buck came out of the chute, looked up, he had no chance.
Well, just a situation where an experienced Torrey Hunter took advantage of the fact that he had got a reading on Accardo. They really weren't paying much attention to him there at second base. Got a running lead. Steals third very easily. Right here you can see he just takes off. The moment Accardo looked towards the plate, he was gone.
3 steals tonight for the Angels, and Torrey Hunter recognized Accardo was a little more concerned with the strike zone than he was stopping him at second. Morales with runners at the corners. Fights it off.
And it's interesting that the Angels came into the ball game tonight having stolen just 4 bases on the season, and now they've almost matched that here tonight.
Merkin Valdez starts to loosen up. This is the type of game we have seen from the Angels over the last several seasons. Push the offense. Strike 2. Henry Morales, his home run in the 4th inning gave the Angels a 2-1 lead. His 3rd home run of the season.
They have a lot of balance this evening. They've tried to hit and run twice. They've stolen 3 bases.
There's a line drive at the shortstop, gloved by Gonzalez. Gonzalez had his eye on Matsui a little bit and then dove back to his right to make a nice catch on a line drive.
And this right here might be the play that keeps the Jays in this ball game and gives them a chance to come back and possibly win it. Just a great effort by Gonzalez and some more great defense. And everyone around here, Buck, have just raved about what this man has done defensively at shortstop.
Well, he has really tightened up the defense and given them that ability to make dramatic plays and help out the staff. There's a ground ball through the middle into center. Torrey Hunter will jog home. And Rivera comes through with his first base hit of the night. Torrey Hunter singled and scored. Rivera picks up the RBI. It's his 5th of the season, and it's now 5-1 Angels.
It's just a mistake fastball, and he hits it right back through the box. You know, something that often goes unnoticed on that line out, and great play by Alex Gonzalez. Both Torrey Hunter and Hideki Matsui did a great job of running the bases and not getting doubled off. That kept the inning alive, and it pays off for him. An RBI single by Rivera.
And you can see now Reggie Willits comes on as a pinch runner, takes over for Matsui at second base. Isturiz fouls it back. Runners at first and second, 2 outs, a run in on Juan Rivera's RBI single. Swinging a drive toward right. Travis Snyder over his glove, all the way to the wall. 1 run is in. Willits scores. Here comes Juan Rivera around third. He'll score. Isturiz put a charge in it. The ball took off on Travis Snyder, sailed over his glove, went all the way to the wall.
It's always a tough play for an outfielder, that line drive. If you don't get the perfect read right away, it will beat you. And you'll see right there, he was late breaking it, didn't read the ball right away off the bat, and unable to recover.
A 3-run inning. Isturiz drives in 2. All the damage coming with 2 outs. Kendrick takes ball 1. 2-out base hits in the 5th off Sean Markham, and 2 more 2-out hits in the 8th. (7-1) Angels. fouled it back. Howie Kendrick singled in the 7th. He was caught stealing. Good throw by John Buck. Off-speed pitch. Kendrick was out in front. A ball and 2 strikes. 2 down here in the 8th inning. Sean Markham went 7. Allowed 4 runs on 7 hits. Ground ball. Third baseman Bautista cuts it off and fires to first, and Kendrick is retired. But the Angels get 3 more runs on 3 hits, and Jared Weaver has a 7-1 lead. Part by Z. Zenya. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. Music provided by Universal Canada. Jared Weaver has asked the umpire to get the grounds crew out to make some adjustments on this mound. If I were him, I wouldn't want to tinker with it too much.
I was going to say, it hasn't given him any trouble tonight.
Well, you remember early in the game, he caught his spikes and took an awkward follow-through and seems to be bothered by it. But it's just the landing area. He just wants to make sure that they do a little groundskeeping. But he has been in charge. 7 innings, 4 hits, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. And it's not unusual. Comes into this game with a 5-1 career record. Let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Buck, you look at this Angels team here tonight, 7 runs on 10 hits. Got in at about 3 a.m. last night, and no surprise to find 6 extra hitters and 2 more wanting to hit extra today here early on the field. No rest for the wicked, and this is a staff that really takes its cue from the veterans.
Well, they have a lot of veterans, and they're all about winning. We mentioned this is Mike Scioscia's 11th season at the helm of the Angels. They have gone to the postseason 6 times in 10 years. Randy Ruiz hits one toward the wall in left field. It's out of here. Ruiz connects against Jared Weaver, his first home run of the season.
Maybe he should have left the mound alone. Randy Ruiz has had a couple of real good swings at Weaver this evening, and he finally gets one to his liking and drives it out of the ballpark.
And you can see immediately Weaver knew that ball wasn't going to stay in the yard. ran back over the plate.
Jared Weaver, even though he doesn't finish this game on a positive note, was outstanding tonight. 7 innings of work. Just the 2 runs allowed, both of those off solo home runs, one by Vernon Wells and at last.
Ruiz hit the home run off Weaver, and Travis Snyder will face the right-hander. There's a wide one for ball 1. 31-year-old Jason Bolger making his 4th appearance of the season. He's pitched for the Angels parts of the last 4 seasons. Originally signed by Arizona. Ball 2. Boy, oh boy, that top of the 8th inning is huge now as the Angels scored 3 runs. It expanded that lead to 7-1.
We were talking about it in between pitching changes. In the bottom of the 7th, Jays get the 2 aboard, have a little something maybe going. Lynn gets thrown out at 3rd, and then Accardo comes out, gives up 3 in the top of the 8th, and it just really has turned this game completely around. And you can't do those types of things or make those kind of mistakes against good ball clubs.
Especially when you're in against a guy like Jared Weaver, who has been so good. Weaver again tonight, 7 strong innings.
And historically, he has been outstanding, as we touched on several times tonight against the Blue Jays, but he has really established himself as one of the best starters in the American League. He came into tonight with a career record of 51 wins, 27 losses. He was 16-8 last year, and he's just picking up where he left off.
John McDonald had a single in his last at bat.
Point being, he's pretty good against everybody.
Yeah, he's really developed into one of the more dominant pitchers in the American League. When you mention his names, hitters aren't really anxious to run up to the batter's box. He's kind of tough to handle. No balls and a strike on John McDonald. Breaking ball misses.
And this is just what you don't want to see. You take Weaver out of the ball game. The first hitter Bolger faces, he walks, and now even the count up with John McDonald.
Comes right back and finds the zone again. A ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Randy Ruiz with his first home run of the season started the inning off, and then Travis Snyder, a 4-pitch walk. Lifted towards center. Hunter. An easy play. One down. Bulger last year pitched in 64 games for the Angels. Very important part of their bullpen. He went 6-1 with a good ERA, 3.56. Jose Bautista, 0-for-3 tonight. Bautista just a little bit anxious at the plate. Came out of spring swinging the bat so well. And just trying to get himself to stay back and recognize the ball out of the pitcher's hand. There goes the base runner. The ball gets away from Mathis, goes all the way back to the screen.
Well, it's interesting here, down by 5 in the bottom of the 8th inning. In a situation where you just really need base runners. Travis Snyder off and running and ends up with a stolen base. Of course, no chance for Mathis. A ball in the dirt that he's just trying to keep it in front of him. But that's a sign that, you know, things have changed a little bit. Not laying back so much. Cito Gaston electing to let Snyder run and try to get into scoring position, try to make something happen as opposed to sit around and wait for it to happen.
Yes, he did, said Marvin Hudson. Went too far, and Bautista didn't think so. Had a good look at it, tried to check in time.
Well, it looked as if Bulger and the Angels may have caught in a little bit of a break. Here we'll get a good look at it. Well, on review, it looked like he did break the plane of home plate.
Breaking ball in there.
But you can tell right now, Buck, by the way he's reacting, he's just not comfortable right now. He's not picking the ball up well at all.
And he was so good all throughout spring training into the first part of the season. 2-2 to Bautista. Out in front, popped it up. Ibar calls for it. And there are 2 down.
That's oftentimes seems as if sometimes too much is made of spring training. You have a big spring training, you get off to a slow start. You have a very poor spring training and you come out of the box hot. Sometimes you just never know how it's going to go.
No rhyme, no reason to slow starts or fast starts. Everybody's a little bit different. Alex Gonzalez has gotten off to a great start. He's been shut down tonight. But Jared Weaver shut down a lot of hitters. 2 outs. Snyder at second. Pulled outside of third. But there was a point where the Jays looked like they were going to hang in the game. In the 8th inning, Alex Gonzalez speared a line drive off the bat of Kendry Morales. That was the second out of the inning. And you think, okay, well, we got him now. We're going to strand these base runners. But then Rivera had a base hit with 2 outs. And Meiser Asturias had a 2-run double with 2 outs. That was a big 3-run 8th inning.
Well, the Angels tonight they've come up big with runners in scoring position, as you mentioned, in particular with 2 outs. And it's interesting, coming into tonight's ball game in their 3 victories, they were 12 for 34 with runners in scoring position. In their 6 losses, 8 for 53. So tonight, so far in this ball game, they have been 5 for 9 with them runners in scoring position, and that's been the difference.
Yeah, and the guys that have come through are the veterans. Abreu with a 2-out RBI base hit. Hunter with a 2-out RBI double. And then Juan Rivera, a 2-out base hit with an RBI. Gonzalez in a hole. A ball and 2 strikes. Ball in the dirt. Mathis keeps it in front.
That little short hop in the dirt is not so difficult to handle, but that last one right there, a great job by Mathis. That ball bounced well out in front of him, and he smothered it no problem.
He's had a good night behind the plate and a good night at the plate. Scored 2 runs and had a hit. 2-2 to Alex Gonzalez. Swinging a base hit up the middle. Travis Snyder around third. He's being waved home. Torrey Hunter will not make a throw, and it's 7-3. 2 runs in the inning.
Well, and they've done it in a little bit of the manner that oftentimes the Angels in the past have done it, by making something happen. Stolen base by Travis Snyder, and then a base hit with 2 out by Alex Gonzalez. Drives in Snyder.
Well, Gonzalez continues to produce. Boy, he's been good since they put him in the 2 spot in this lineup. Now Adam Lind will step in. He started off that 7th inning with a single into right. Swinging a drive toward right. This ball is going to go into the second deck. Adam Lind, his 2nd home run of the season, has made it 7-5.
Well, since entering the ball game, Bulger had given these Jays hitters a steady diet of this pitch right here, a breaking ball, and you almost sense that Adam Lind was sitting for it. He got it, middle in, and he didn't miss it. And the Jays, Buck, suddenly are right back in this ball game.
A no doubt home run for Adam Lind. His 2nd goes into the 2nd deck, and the Jays are right back in it. They've knocked Jason Bulger out of the game. And 7+ a batter. Adam Lind has made it a 2-run game. Kevin Jepson, the big right-hander, on for the 6th time this season. Vernon Wells swings and drives it up the middle of base hit. You never know.
The one thing, as we all know, power can get you back in a ball game, and most certainly Adam Lind, with his power, has made it a ball game again, and now Vernon Wells with a single to center field and Overbay at the plate. And like you said, you never know. Overbay run into a ball and you've got a tie ball game. And that start by Jared Weaver could possibly be all for naught.
2 outs. Overbay takes his strike. Jays have had 4 come from behind wins this season. 4 of their 7 wins. Foul back into the seats. Well, here's where you'd love to see Lyle Overbay get a big hit. Adam Lynn's had 2 hits tonight and a big home run here in the 8th. In the dirt, Wells thinks about it, but retreats. Now the throw to first, and Morales does a good job coming off the bag and taking the low throw. Wells got out there and then identified that Mathis was on it.
That ball in the dirt that gets away from Mathis, you better be sure, because he is so quick recovering.
Now he stays on his feet so well.
And you got Vernon Wells off of first base, who runs very well, and he had to shut it down. As you mentioned, Buck, he recognized that if he continues on, he's going to be dead at second base.
A ball and 2 strikes. Down 2-2. The Jays haven't seen a lot of Kevin Jepson. Only 3 hitters in the lineup have faced him before. Seven, 5 Angels. Ball 3. We have talked about it. We have seen it firsthand, but this ball club truly believes they can come back anywhere they are. Travis Snyder with the steal after the home run, and Weaver was lifted. Kind of looked at everybody and said, why is he running now? But he just got things going. He walked, stole second, came in to score on Gonzalez's base hit. Now Overbay with a full count. Fouls it off. Wells was on the move. Well, he made a great point, Rance, about the Jays' ability to strike quickly. They've got power. They don't have a real good batting average, but they can strike at any time.
And an indication of how much Lyle Overbay is struggling right now and having difficulty picking up the baseball. That last pitch was pretty much right down Broadway and clearly a strike, and he asked the umpire after fouling it off.
He swings and misses. He is down on strikes. But the Jays get back in it in the 8th inning off the Angels bullpen. Randy Ruiz goes deep to knock Jared Weaver out of the game. Then Kevin Bulger gives up a 2-run home run to Adam Lynn. It's 7-5 Angels. Jays are Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Scott Downs comes out of the bullpen to work the ninth. It'll be 9-1-2. Mathis, Ibar, and Abreu. His 5th appearance. (7-5). Jays with 4 in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, Scott Downs so far this year, 3 1/3, has not given up a run. Just 1 hit allowed. So in the early going, he's been very good for the Jays out of the bullpen. And they'll most certainly need a shutout inning out of him here in the top of the 9th to give him a chance to possibly tie it or win it in the bottom of the 9th. Boy, you go back to the bottom of the 7th inning, the base running mistake by Adam Lind, and then the top of the 8th when the Angels scored 3.
Breaking ball, and he fouls it right off that left foot. Back in the 7th, Lynn gets on with a base hit. Wells gets on with a single to left field, so it's 1st and 2nd, nobody out for Overbay. Then a ball in the dirt gets away, and then advances toward 3rd, but Mathis recovered and threw him out.
It's interesting when, with everything that transpires and takes place through the course of the ball game, it seems like you can always go back to just a couple of key situations that really oftentimes determine the outcome of the game. Those 2 situations we just described could very well be the 2 that ultimately decides who wins this game.
And then big 2-out hits. The 2-out RBIs, there were 5 of them tonight for the Angels. You get to the point where you make 1 good pitch and you're out of the inning, and then those 2-out base hits are really demoralizing.
Well, as a catcher, you know, who obviously you get close to your pitchers, you work with them on a daily basis. What does that does? What does a 2-out hit that produces a run do to a pitcher oftentimes psychologically? I mean, does it really have that much of an effect? Is it a real letdown?
Well, it can be if you let the pitcher think about it. Stu, you've got to have short memory working out of the bullpen. Make a good pitch and come right back, make another good pitch. 2-2 to Mathis. Down low, 3-2. But yeah, the pitcher's in the mindset, oh, I make 1 good pitch right here and I get out of it, and then gives up a base hit. And it was back-to-back 2-out hits in the 5th. Markham made a couple of good pitches, but given the experience of Abreu and Hunter, they won that battle. Hot shot at Bautista. Mathis is retired. One down here in the 9th. Downs would love to keep it right where it is, 7-5. In the bottom of the 9th, the scheduled hitters for the Jays: John Buck, Randy Ruiz, and Travis Snyder. Bouncing ball over the 3rd baseman's head, and that's going to be an infield hit for Eric Ibar.
This is just a great example of what speed can do for you. The ability to, on occasion, bunt for a base hit forces the 3rd baseman to play well in, to respect your speed and the fact that you may bunt, and you chop a ball over the top of his head and no one can make a play. If he's back at his normal depth, pretty routine.
So Downs now will face the left-handed hitting Bobby Abreu with Ibar at first. Downs has that great pickoff move. That step off and sidearm flip to first, very effective. 1 out here in the 9th. Bouncing ball towards second. Gonzalez on the back for 1 over to first, double play. Scott Downs does his job, turns it over to the defense. Gonzalez makes the double play to get out of the inning. 2 runs down. Alex Gonzalez, an easy double play behind Scott Downs. After the game, you could tune into Connected with Ivanka and Martine as they look at Roy Halladay, who's trying to go to 3-0. Phillies lead it 8-2, bottom of the 8th inning in Philadelphia, plus all the best of baseball around both leagues tonight. Right after the game, Connected. Fernando Rodney comes on to try to protect this lead for the Angels. He has appeared in 4 games. He's had 1 save opportunity. Signed in the offseason as a free agent. Remember, Brian Fuentes, the closer from a year ago, is on the disabled list.
So for the time being, it'll be up to Fernando Rodney to close this game out for the Angels.
John Buck will start things off in the 9th. A 2-run game, 7-5 Angels. Fastball in there for a strike, 94 miles an hour. Rodney's always had a good fastball and an excellent changeup.
Well, Fernando Rodney definitely at times can just overmatch you with his stuff. There was a time when he could hit 97, 98 miles an hour with that fastball. And when you can throw that hard, you can definitely get away with some mistakes.
He jammed him into center, and Hunter makes the out. Got that good fastball inside to John Buck. 1 down. Randy Ruiz homered in his last at bat. That was off Jared Weaver, and Weaver was lifted from the game. Ruiz's first home run of the season.
Well, the one thing Randy Ruiz has always done is he's always hit. And
he needs to get on base right now.
Yeah, that any kind of way.
Yep. And remember, they have a new extra player on the bench in Fred Lewis, who can pinch run if Ruiz gets on base.
That last pitch from Fernando Rodney at 95 miles an hour.
He's ready. It's Fred Lewis, who just joined the club here tonight, acquired in a deal with the Giants. 1-1 to Ruiz. Ball 2. You got to get on for Travis Snyder. Snyder's got some pop. Love to have him hitting with a man on. homered for the first time of the season in last night's game. Broken bat right to Rodney, and again a bad bounce for the Jays. That ball stayed right at the pitcher's feet, and he was able to make the play on it. That goes anywhere else on the infield, Ruiz probably beats it out.
And Fernando Rodney not exactly in great fielding position. This ball obviously was not hit hard, and he really struggled with it. And as you mentioned, Buck, this ball could have went. If it goes behind the mound or towards third base, the Jays are in business, but those rolls right off the mound towards first base, Rodney is able to recover and record the out at first base. That's one thing oftentimes about those hard throwers. They fall off to that right side of the infield and typically aren't in very good position to field a ball hit back at them.
So Travis Snyder trying to keep the inning and the game alive here. Takes a ball, 2 down. Rodney looking for his second save of the season. Bouncing ball up the middle. Ibar with good range, strong arm, and Snyder is out. Rodney comes in, has a 1-2-3 ninth inning, picks up his second save of the season. Big base hit by Torrey Hunter. Bobby Abreu, the veterans, doing the damage. Jared Weaver wins his second one of the season. 7-5 Angels. Stay tuned for Connected.